Hi, Deb here and welcome to my craft room. Today I'm going to be making a silicone mould from these crystals which I purchased from Temu. They're beautiful crystals, they weren't particularly expensive, and I thought it would be nice if I could make a mould with them, and then I can make them in all different colours and glitters and things like that. I will be using the Let's Resin mould housing. It's an excellent piece of kit. I've got two actually, so I can make much bigger moulds if I want to. I don't think that I've got all of the pieces from one size in that. I think there's four more. I think there's four more straight pieces to go with that, so it makes a much bigger square. Excellent. So here I am putting on the double-sided tape onto the bottom of the mould housing. This will stop the silicone from leaking out underneath and going everywhere. It's really important to make sure that this double-sided tape doesn't overlap because it's foam, so it's quite thick. And if it overlaps, you'll get gaps underneath where it's overlapping, and then once again the silicone will escape and it will be wasted and make a terrible mess. Didn't cut that piece quite short enough, so I'm going to get my scissors out and just trim a little bit off it because it is overlapping by a very small amount, and like I say, you really don't want that. There, now I just check that they're all smoothed off, and I will get my pokey tool to remove the other side of the double-sided tape. What would we do without a pokey tool, eh? I'll move the crystals out of the way and get my transfer tape. This is just the stuff that I use when I need to transfer things from my Cricut machine. It's quite good. I think I must have got it on Amazon. I don't know what make it is or anything, but it's okay transfer tape. It works for this purpose, definitely. Excuse the head keep getting in the way. I must have the camera up quite high if my head can keep getting in underneath it. I apologise if you can hear the wind and the tree blowing in the background. My craft room is right next to a window. No, the window in my craft room, sorry, is right next to a tree, and the wind is really strong today and it's blowing the tree around. really badly. So yes, I apologise if you can hear it. As you can see there, I accidentally tore the transfer tape. I apologise for the head and the grey hair getting in the way. Yeah, really sorry. But yes, I tore the transfer tape accidentally. But fortunately, the piece I was using was big enough that it didn't make any difference. And here I am closing or shutting back, turning back the clips that hold the mould housing together. When you're putting hot glue around the outside, which I will be in a second, the handles on the clips get in the way, so I always find it easier to stick them back towards the housing. And here is my hot glue gun, and while that is warming up, I'm going to place the crystals in the housing, making sure I don't go too close to the edge, because you don't want to make the walls too thin, otherwise they can tear if you're not careful when you're demoulding your items. So you want to make sure they're not too close to the edges, and you also want to make sure that the smooth surface on the bottom of them is pushed right down hard onto the transfer paper, so that they stick, so that the silicone doesn't go underneath. That was my daughter ringing me. Sorry about that. If you managed to see that picture on the front, that was my grandson. Right, so the glue gun is now heated up, and I'm going all around the outside with hot glue. Once again, the head is in the way of the picture, but you get the gist. You literally just squeeze hot glue all around the edge of the housing on top of the so it's connected to the transfer paper and the housing, so it stops the silicone from coming out. That head's in the way again, isn't it? Unfortunately, I have lost the piece of me mixing and pouring the silicone, but it is Silicone RPRO 10, which I bought from Amazon. It has a 40-minute working time and a 3-hour setting time, and you have to pour it from high up. Mix it very well and pour it from very high up, and that helps to get rid of bubbles. So here I am demoulding it, taking off the clips and then removing, or trying to remove, got to be tough for this, trying to remove the transfer sheet underneath. Pull it, Deb. Oh, that's it, that's the girl, you've got it. And once you've got the transfer sheet off, it's easy to just unclip the edges. The corners are usually the easier ones to do. And if you actually can't manage to get the glue off by pulling it like I am here, you can always just run your craft knife along the edge to get off the glue. It does come off eventually. And also the tape that sticks, the double-sided tape that comes with the kit is very, very sticky. And I find that I have to use sticky stuff remover to get that off the bottom for when I use it next time. And here I am just taking off all the pieces and then trying to get the gems out. Unfortunately, they didn't adhere very well. to the transfer sheet, so I have to get my craft knife out to go around the edge and cut the silicone from the crystals. Always be really careful when you're doing this. First of all, don't cut your hands. I don't want you hurting yourselves, but also you want to make sure you're cutting just on the edge of where the mould hole is, where the hole is for what you want to make. So I keep lifting it to make sure that I'm only going up as far as the edge of the crystals, and that gives you a much better bottom to your mould, top to your mould and bottom to your piece that you're moulding. I must apologise for not having put a video up for a while. I didn't realise it had been so long. Sort of life and grandchildren. Well, it all keeps going, doesn't it? And it's hard to find the time to think, let alone put up moulds and things. Put up moulds. Sorry, I've got moulds on the brain. Put up videos and things. But I really thought it was only a couple of weeks, and then I looked back and I thought it's been a month. So I apologise for that. But I have got a few now in the bag. So I have been making videos. I just haven't got round to editing and putting them up. So for the next few weeks at least, we will definitely have some videos. I'm still cutting away at the edges. And here I'm trying to get the crystals out. There's one. Looks good. This little one is very cute, I have to say. I really like that crystal. More cutting. They all came out relatively easy. I think the middle one was the hardest because it's in the middle, and this is quite dense silicone. It does come to me eventually, honestly. Yeah, it's quite dense, so it's hard to get things out in the middle. But now I'm using my cuticle remover to just clean up the edge of the mould. It's a bit like resin, where it attaches to an edge, it makes it a bit untidy. Cuticle removers are excellent for this. There you can see how easily that has just all come away. Very good. And you do get the odd piece of silicone sticking up where the joins are in the mould housing. To be honest, as you can see, I'm cutting them off here, but I don't usually worry about them because it doesn't affect the mould at all. And unless you're selling your moulds, which I'm not doing, then it doesn't really make any difference. I'm having trouble with it sticking to me, aren't I? Last edge. And there's the finished mould. Really, really pleased with it. Really pleased with it. Right, and here we are, all ready to make some crystals in it. I've mixed up some resin, only a small amount, not very much at all. And I'm putting in some Nouveau Sparkles dust in the purple. I don't know where you get that from. I bought mine ages ago on the internet, and I can't find the order, and I can't remember who it was with. And I've also put in some white fairy dust glitter, which I absolutely love, and I add to most things. I'm not sure where that came from either. Mixing it all in nicely so that the glitters are all mixed into the resin. And now I'm spraying a little bit of 99% isopropyl alcohol into the mould, because where there's lots of different facets to it, bubbles can get trapped. Whereas if you pour in a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, it stops the bubbles forming, hopefully, in theory. Pouring it slowly so that it has more chance to get down into all the little nooks and crannies. Sorry, my camera keeps going in and out of focus. I'm not quite sure what's happening there. And as usual, I haven't mixed quite enough resin. But let's make sure we scrape it all out. Waste not, want not. And where it's a crystal, it's not really so important how deep it is, because it just makes a shorter crystal. Oh, I really am scraping that, aren't I? I'm determined to get out every last bit there. Dear, dear, dear. And I think that one was slightly overfilled, so I've scraped some of that over as well. And that'll do. A little squirt of isopropyl alcohol over the top. And now it's ready to demold. This is the next day, obviously, and it's ready to demold. That little crystal is pretty. It's a really pretty little mould, that tiny one in the middle. Well, I'm really pleased with all of them, but the two smaller ones are my favourites. The one that I just took out and this one here, I think they're beautiful. They're stunning. Really, really pleased with the mould, and with the fact that I can now make any colour of crystal I want to. So thank you very much for joining me, and here are the finished crystals. Really, really pleased with them. You can't see quite how bright they are.